Welcome to the February webinar, and once again, Michael Olafusi. I'll be the one taking us through the webinar, and this month's webinar is on practical tips to becoming a business data analysis professional. How does one become a data analyst? This is one question I get asked a lot of times. There are many people who keep reading online, they hear from friends, oh, data analysis is the next big field. Some people even want to pick a niche like big data. I want to focus on big data. I hear all these kind of things a lot of times, and they go about reading a lot of things online, how to break into the industry. The issue is after a while they start getting so many confusing and contrasting information, and they just a matter of time they get demotivated because there's a lot of gap between what they are seeing and the reality they are experiencing. So the common approach I see people follow is they try and take up all the kinds of trainings, at once. They go on Coursera, they sign up for all those data analysis trainings on Coursera. They go on IBM Big Data University, Data Camp, all those mass open course universities, courses, and they try to also take some offline classes. To be fair, there are very few offline classes you can take in Nigeria, so maybe that's why most of the people I come in contact with, they do a lot more online training. And I am here to find someone who has followed this approach successfully. You know, I'm sure there will be those, just that there are few. There will be people who have been able to follow that approach and make some headway, but there will be very few. And in the next slide, I'll be explaining why. There are basically two training methods. There's the on-the-job training, there's your off-the-job training. So when you are taking classes online, offline, those are like off-the-job training. You are having to learn and then hopefully get some job to apply the training on. But the truth is, in data analysis field, you can never be skilled enough until you start working on real life projects. So it's unique. It's different from other kinds of trainings where you can learn, do role play or whatsoever they can teach you in the class, and when they put you in a real world environment you can deliver. But for data analysis it's never like that. The you have to do a lot more of on the job training. You have to make sure that as you are learning from whatsoever platform you are using, you are taking up real life projects. And the cool thing about data analysis is there are always people who have a need. So it's not until you get a job titled data analyst before you can work on real life projects. You can help friends, you can help relatives who their work involves analyzing data, help them with their practical issues. Use your skills you have been learning to work on real life projects, a problem that is going to impact the business. Okay. If you have questions, please leave them in the in the chat box. I'll check once in a while and answer the questions. Okay. So, what foundations do you need? Number one, you have to start with mastering one data analysis tool. Whether you pick Excel, SPSS, R, there are a whole lot of data analysis tools out there, SAS. Pick one and master that one. Uh, Personally, I would recommend that you pick Excel because it's a lot easier to get help if you are stuck, and you will also easily get live projects to work on. And the good thing about it again is it opens door. You can also get a paying job. So rather than just having to work, on paid projects, you can also get paid gigs faster if you learn Excel. But again, that's my own bias. Maybe because I'm very good with Excel. The thing to take note here is master one tool in the beginning, and then learn data structure. The different structure around data. Numbers, text, all the different forms of data that you will encounter in real life. So learn data structure and how to manipulate data. When I say how to manipulate data, text cleaning, data cleaning, data formatting, and then data presentation. How to make the final form of the data to be. Okay, then number three, learn data transformation. It's more like data analysis. How you pivot data, group by. So while I'm using these terms are because they cut across more than one tool. In the Excel world, you know, data transformation will be a lot more like you use pivot table, you use filter, you group by, you do some of those common things you'll find in the data menu tab. But if you're an SQL person, it's a whole different terms again. So maybe you do group by. You can also SQL commands that are similar to filtering, where clause. You can write formulas, create queries that create a completely new field. So those are what we mean by data transformation. You also have to learn them, master them. Also learn data visualization. How you create charts, the different kind of charts, when to use them, and creating them in an expert way. I wish I can show you some real life projects where I'd created charts, and if you see those charts, you will not believe that I created them with Excel. They carry a lot of information, and they are different from the regular charts. So you have to be very good with data visualization. Again, all these are like journeys. I wouldn't say do one before you move on to the next. It's better you learn them maybe in parallel, and because you will always keep learning them. So the more you work, the better you become at them. So don't say, oh, until I master data structure before I move to data transformation. But have them in mind that these are the things at the end that you have to be very comfortable with. Okay, also learn data modeling. Data modeling is all about the problem solution. In business, nobody is going to tell you, okay, I need you to create exactly this kind of analysis or create this chart, this very chart. Or, like in training, sometimes in training classes, we show you this is the goal we want to achieve, and then we take you through how to achieve the goal. But in businesses, you yourself have to figure out the goal and then the best way to achieve the goal. All what the business persons, or if it's not your own business, if it's your business, then the problem you will be seeing is, you only be able to identify that this is a particular problem and we have data. How do we use our data to tackle that problem? And so data modeling is now the end-to-end use of all these your skills. How you build templates, models that are able to take in data, answer some very important questions, and come up with output. So when we talk about financial modeling, that's a very good case. If you're a salesperson, you could create a model around your sales team's reporting, right? So something that maybe your sales model, it shows all the important aspects of your sales pipeline and the kind of questions you want to have answered, at every point in time. So you're creating something to answer business driven questions. And then the last part is you have to also learn to work with different data sources. Don't just limit yourself to text files. You have to also be comfortable with connecting to live database and pulling data, also connecting to web applications and pulling data from there. That's the JSON. Most of the web applications can provide you JavaScript object notation kind of data format, and also even the web data. So these are the things that you need to have a good grasp on, regardless of whatsoever aspect of data analysis you want to go into. So let me check if there are any questions yet. Okay. All right. Welcome all those who just joined. Any question? Any question yet? So any question, or should I just go on? Okay. All right. So I'll go on. I'll check back again and see if there are any questions. But I hope you can all hear me clearly. Okay. So the different career focus areas. All right. So you can focus in the general business data analysis area. This is the more heavily Excel based one, uh, because most companies use Excel for their reporting. So regardless of departments, whether you are in finance, logistics, sales, marketing, operations, even IT, a lot of times the final reports you create, a lot of your planning, modeling, analysis, they are done with Excel. So if you are very skilled in Excel, you can be able to do most of all these general business analysis, data analysis, general analysis businesses uh, engage in. So you'll be a very versatile employee. Either you are in the finance, you become very productive in your role, And if you decide to strike out as an independent consultant, you'll be able to work with different kinds of clients. As long as they can explain their problem and give you the data, you'll be able to analyze it, create reports that you can use in Excel. Okay, so that is the general business data analysis one. uh, the other domain you can focus on is NGO and academia. So if you're working with UN, a lot of all these non-government health organizations, they use a lot more SPSS. So they use SPSS, and depending on also if you're doing some GIS and the rest, you can also use some other. There's some other specialized tools, but SPSS and maybe HAR, they are the key ones that, if you focus on those ones, it's easy to break in uh, into those domains. Those are the key ones there. But if you are working in a supporting role there, you work in the finance, budgeting, or the general. Let me put it again. The sections concerned more about just general business data analysis. You might end up, even though you are in an NGO, working more with Excel. So maybe an HR, you're a finance person. If you're working in NGO, you'll still be using a lot more Excel. It is the researchers, it's the field guys, the guys doing more of the heavy data lifting, operation data analysis, that might need to, be very strong in SPSS and R. Okay, the third domain is server side BI. BI is business intelligence. A lot more about uh, uh, business reports, but visually heavy. Okay, so if you're focusing on the server side BI domain, SQL will be the key tool to master. So you'll be working a lot closer to the data warehouse, mining data from servers. And when I say SQL, SQL is it's platform agnostic. Whether your company is using Oracle servers database or Microsoft database, in the end, it's either you're using Oracle SQL, Server SQL, Microsoft Server SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL. They are all SQLs. Just if you know SQL very well, it's just some very slight differences in the deep end of the application. I mean, the queries you'll be writing. So if you want to work in the server side BI, SQL first. Which people end up doing this? If you work in telecoms, in bank, and you are working a lot closer to the data warehouse, you'll be creating organization-wide reports. Creating with SQL queries and some of all those uh, like Oracle BI, Microsoft BI, creating using those tools to create the kind of system operation wide reports the company needs. It is server side BI you are doing, and SQL is the main tool to master. So if you want to focus on the on the self-service BI, then you'll be talking about tools like Tableau, Power BI, Salesforce, the business reporting tools for Salesforce anyway, ClickView, Click, and the others. So usually these will build on you already being very good with general business data analysis. So most cases, this self-service BI is built on top of you already a proficient general business data analysis person. Okay, so that's the other domain. The last domain is big data and embedded analytics. So if you want to focus on big data embedded analytics, you want to be able to maybe work for organizations like Amazon. I don't know if Jumia uses it, but a lot of all those big e-commerce sites, they use it. So that's how they mine, and that's how they can find patterns and be able to give you suggestions. So the thing about them is this: they are embedded, sort of like what you are doing. Like, take for instance, me as a general business data analyst. Excel is my tool, the platform I use, and the final report I make is also Excel. If I'm going to send you my final report, it's also an Excel file I will send you. But if you're in the big data field, you'll be using, so let's say you're using Hadoop. You're using an Hadoop based file system, you're using maybe Google BigQuery, you're using all these tools, Python, the rest. The final result that will come out is never going to be, something. It's not going to be your platform. The result and the platform are very separated. So most cases, that's why I call them embedded analytics. most of the time the report, your results will be driving something else. So you're like an intermediate. Your whole work is in between two. There's an input you work on, and then your own output forms the input to the final consumption end. So like for Amazon now, your input from your big data analysis will feed into the web platform for Amazon. So that's how they can now be able to pick up a product and present to a particular client, customer, and say, oh, based on your shopping history, this is the product that you should also be interested in. So and that's the thing about big data, and that's one part that I see people struggle with, because they always think it's, oh, if I know it, then great, I can be able to do all the very things I do in Excel. It doesn't work that way. When you are very vast with big data, you cannot stand alone. That's the thing. You're there have to be some, except if you're also if you're also involved in building the final um, consumption end. But most cases you have to focus on one. And so let's say you are the big data analyst. You set up your models, your recommendation models, predictive models. Maybe you work in the loan industry. So maybe you set up a model that helps the loan company know who to lend money to or not. In the end, the result that you come out from your model will now be fed into another application. So maybe the application will be on the loan officer's iPad or on his desktop, and it will now be the one driving the result the application will show. So now if you want to do a report, if you want to migrate or say maybe do stuffs in big data, you have to also ensure that, yeah, that consumption end too, is taken care of, or else no one is going to see what you have done. Okay, so except if you just want to create static PDF visualizations of whatsoever you have come up with, but that's not really what you will be doing in the real business world. So it's a very interesting field. I just want to bring out that aspect that I've seen people not get a good grasp of. What are your career prospects? Okay, so you can decide to go consulting. In fact, that's the easiest part. And when I say consulting, consulting is simply, okay, you you can contact me and like, oh, Michael, do you have any job that maybe your hands are full, you can pass to me, I can help you with? That's consulting you are doing. Or you have a friend who says, oh, I'm trying to do this stuff, I'm stuck, and you say, oh, give it to me, I'll help you out. That's consulting. So maybe because you don't charge for it, you never really thought about it as consulting. It's still consulting. It's just that, well, you are being very generous. You are not charging for it. But in the real sense, if you want to go that path as a career, then you have to start charging. At the time too, I was doing a whole lot of what I'm doing now for free for people, but now I charge because I have to also keep alive. So consulting is the easiest. Just simply finding a need, and you're just providing the solution, and the person pays you or does not pay you and pays you in kind, whichever way. So you can so in the consulting there is the freelance, which is more like you're helping someone fix an issue, and you get paid for just that issue. Or there is also the consulting job roles where you could be engaged for a longer period. It could be a 6 month consulting role, 2 months consulting role, but still built on that your expertise in data analysis. And the second one is big company employment. So uh, okay, so for consulting, I forgot to mention, for consulting, all of these career focus areas, any one of them you pick, you can always strike out in the consulting part. So for big company employment, most of the time, uh, if you had gone the NGO academia route, you might not find a big company employ you easily, because I don't know of any big company, a non-NGO company, who uses SPSS intensely for their data analysis. All the SPSS usage I've seen are always in the academia and NGO. So if you are someone who your skills is SPSS and R, I don't even in Nigeria I don't know of any company that uses R. So maybe they exist, but I don't know. Maybe PwC use it, and I hope not in the training aspect. Use it to deliver a solution for client. I don't know about that. So I would safely say for big company employment, all of these career focus except the NGO and academia, which is learning SPSS and how you will be able to get job, except for if you're an SPSS and how it might be a lot harder for you to get a big company job. For NGO, all of the fields, even if it's Excel, there's always a job role for you there. I mentioned the finance people, the operations people, the HR people. No, finance, HR people, they use more Excel, so it might just be the corporations team who will be doing a lot of the SPSS and R1. So after I read through this, I'll go check if there are questions. If you have questions, please drop them now. So when I check, I can see and be able to answer. And also, if you're just looking to work for a startup, a small company, then you know general business data analysis will work. If you have the NGO academia skills, I doubt if you will get a job. I don't know, for profit companies, they seldom use SPSS and R. Then server side BI, there might be a problem. Most small companies don't have that large enough database structure. Most of them don't have data warehouse. So if you are the guy who had gone for server side BI domain, if you do self-service BI, great. You can always deploy your skills with them, so you can get a job with them. Big data and embedded analytics, out of the picture. They don't. Some of them don't even know what big data is. So for small company employment, it's mostly for those who are specialized in the general business data analysis domain and self-service BI. Then entrepreneurship, maybe you want to start up on your own, and do like me. Then any of all these fields apply. You can always find your own clients, regardless of whatsoever domain you choose. So I'm going to go check if there are questions left for me. Okay, so okay, how big is the industry? Okay, so Kola Akintola is asking how big is the industry. When you say industry, do you mean the data analysis industry? The thing is, data analysis, as a professional in data analysis, right? It's more like someone asking me how big is the accounting industry. It's very, it will be kind of incorrect if I take a look at it and say, oh, the accounting industry is purely just those accounting firms, auditing firms, tax firms. Every company has an accountant. So if you're an accounting professional, you always have a job in telecoms industry, in non-accounting industry. In all industries, there will be a job role for you. That's the same kind of opportunity that lies in data analysis. If you're a data analyst, there's always a job for you in any company, because there's no company that doesn't generate data. At least they will have their finance data, even if they don't keep the other data. But all companies work with data, and as a data analyst, you will always find a place to operate there. But then maybe now, as data analysis as a standalone industry, where a company can say, "Oh, who are the data analyst companies I can engage to come and do so for us?" In that case, the industry is majorly consisting of the server, the server side folks, the people who set up servers, you know, the SQL servers, Oracle servers, Microsoft SQL servers. Those are the ones currently now trying to now uh, position themselves also as a data company, data solutions company. And then those of us who do the consulting side of training, Excel training, of Excel, SPSS. I don't know about her and others. So, but I know about Excel, SPSS. So those of us in that space, maybe before used to do training and a little of consulting, and now also positioning ourselves as data analysis solutions company. So in that standalone segment, you find those two categories: the Excel, SPSS, and those kind of tools trainers positioning themselves as solutions provider, and then those who traditionally will set up database servers for companies, data warehouse solutions, now also positioning themselves as data analysis companies. Okay. Okay, someone is asking, okay, that you you came late and that will the webinar be uploaded? Yes, yes. So the webinar is going to be the moment we terminate it. I think it takes about 2 minutes for YouTube to process it, and it's live. It's uploaded on YouTube. You can watch it. Though I'll try to go cut out the beginning part where I was trying to check if you could hear me. Okay, so another question is how is the market for big data in Nigeria? Presently, the companies I see that are using big data or even trying to set it up in Nigeria, set up the infrastructure because it requires a completely different kind of infrastructure. You can't use your legacy system for it, if you want to do it properly. So it's the telecoms guy, the MTN, Airtel, etc. They're the ones doing that, and the banks, the I don't know too well about insurance companies, but banks, and then some of these loan companies. Like I know, I think OneFi. Some of all these micro loan companies, some of them are actually trying to use all these new tools. So I know of OneFi, they are heavily trying to be high end in their data analysis and trying to use all these new technologies. So maybe those ones, and I think those are the ones I'm aware of. But in traditional companies, what you see is, they will send their staff for training on big data. I've had to handle trainings where people come for that, but they don't have infrastructure. So the staff comes, they come and learn what big data is, the tools. But in the end, we end up now using the tools that they have that can work with the platform they have. So we now start talking about, okay, how do you use Power BI? So we are much more talking more on the ones that consume, that do the, because in big data there is the platform, and then there's the platform, and then should I say there's the consumption part, the actual report generating part. So the platform, the company has to set it up. They have to, the common ones are Hadoop based file system, data lakes. Sometimes you could go all cloud and sign up with IBM big data solutions, and that way you are now warehousing your data in a big data relevant, no, big data appropriate platform, let me use that word. And then there are now tools that will help you connect, make the most of it, and create your reports, your models, your analyses, if you are doing reporting. But most times again, you'll be in the real end, like the loan guys, they use it to create recommender systems. So you'll be building models that will pick those data and be able to recommend if this guy is loan worthy or not. Or if you're working in e-commerce, as what kind of product will this person buy? Or if you're working with Netflix, Iroko TV, someone who watches this movie, what will they watch next? Okay. Any particular company involved in this? So any company, is there any company already using big data in Nigeria? I think OneFi is using. OneFi, they're a loan company. They you can they I think micro loan, they give you all those non-collateralized loan, like salary kind of loans. They use the high end of data analysis. So I am careful to say the word big data, but they use some of all these things I'm saying, the deep end of it. And okay, how difficult is it to become a programmer? The big difficulty there is in the fact that you need a problem and a solution. Someone that you have to be given a problem to now work on. So you can go learn programming, learn Python. The funny thing is, the examples they will be teaching you with are examples that do not have any correlation with what you face in real life. So they teach you how to, you connect to historic data, US data. They always use US data a lot. The 64 years ago hold the data, of maybe population, crime, all those, and they tell you, okay, let's do something to find out, or there's this other popular one, the build a model that will predict, the survival rate of someone on the Titanic ship based on maybe the person's age, sex, you know. So you're working on things that in real we have no correlation from my own perspective with the kind of things you'll be working with in real life. So you'll end up learning those things. You will learn, it's just like learning a language. Programming languages are exactly like English language. If someone is teaching you English language, it's using uh, using maybe farm, how things that are farm related, farm equipment, in if you will definitely be good in the English that people on the farm will speak, right? You will definitely and identify all those out of that environment and put you, maybe they put you in, maybe in a telecoms industry. you know your whole vocabulary will be different. You have to start learning their own vocabulary all over, right? So that's the same thing. You go for those training, the very examples they walk you around, they don't match the very examples you need to be proficient at in real life. So the hardest part is you learning with the very kind of scenarios, examples that you will need to work on in real life. And the problem with that is no company will give you their own data. A bank will not give you their own data for you to predict who they should borrow money to, or which customer is their best paying customer, or or telecoms company will not give you their own data to predict which customer is going to churn, and all those churn analysis and those kind of things that we use it for in real life. So it's now very, that's the difficult part. Once you That's why I say it's best you get projects, even if it's for a small friend. I mean, even if it's for a small company, get projects that will force you to begin to apply, learn those things in the domain of the use case scenario you will need in real life um, business deployment. Okay, how does one make a? I'll come to that. How does one make a millionaire a month? I'll come to that. Do you see big data industry growing in Nigeria? It's already growing. And the funny thing in Nigeria is things catch up like like tsunami. The whole world had been using ATM machines since 1980, since 1985. But just in the early 2000s, it was like boom. Everywhere it just started getting flooded with ATM machines. They say it's not ATM machine, ATMs in Nigeria. And the same thing too with GSM phones, right? They've always been in existence since the 1990s, and well, the moment it came to Nigeria, it's like a tsunami again. Everybody just caught on it. So the same thing too with the big data trend. It's already coming, and it's good if you're interested in it to get yourself skilled now, because it's going to be like the telecoms era, where all the guys that were working somewhere something close to telecoms, all of them got the MTN poach all of them, and Glo, and all of them are getting very fat salaries just because they had electrical electronics certificates, or they were working in IT companies. So the same thing too, and they will train you. That's the thing. Even after they get you, you will still do on the job training. So, but at least to get your leg in, to get your foot in, you have to also be along the path already be doing something close to it, because the skill is missing. They all know that not everybody has it, so they just pick the best of the options they have. So it's just good that you make yourself one of the best options available. Okay, so I'll go back to the slide. So what really is special about Excel? Number one is that Excel is the de facto business data analysis tool in most companies. I'd mentioned it that when you create reports, it's always in Excel. Uh, if you're working in most companies, especially reports that go to management, you can't send a PDF of your report to management and be explaining, oh, I used R, I used Python, so I had to do the results. Because you can't send MP or Python code, except if I'm building something. And it's very kind of user friendly compared with most other data analysis tools. And then, okay, so even though there are other tools more sophisticated, and some other ones say they are more user friendly and that you should choose them over Excel, while I would recommend that if you want to start your journey into data analysis, at least you are trying to pick a tool. If you have not already picked a tool, I would recommend you start with Excel, because learning Excel over those other ones is like choosing to learn a car over learning to fly a plane or sail a ship. The advantage is that you will always be in demand. The guy who can drive a car will get maybe 1,000 job opportunities before the guy who can fly a plane will see one job opportunity. And even if it's not for job opportunities, just even you practicing life projects, doing stuffs on the side, you get a lot more with your Excel skill than you will get with those other ones. Excel is very powerful. You can build very complex and even robust applications with it. I've built applications that do really complex stuffs. Okay, and its knowledge will also enhance your productivity even as you move up the corporate ladder, the career ladder. That's why I've seen there have been some people who have come for our training, and they are kind of a little ashamed that they are coming at this stage in their career. They are already executives. They are maybe head of a department, CFO, even MDs. And like some of them will even be asking, can you come and do for us can you do for me a special training, like personalized? I don't want to come to that, to a class. I want them, there are some stuff my people do, and it's a shame. I can't be calling someone all the time to look things up, and some of them are confidential. I want to be able to do it myself. So if they had known Excel all this while, they will be able to do a lot more, and they can even drive their team harder. They can tell them to do this kind of reports because they know Excel. They know it's possible. Nobody will be able to give them crap. Okay, so this is the part I think a lot of you have been expecting. How much can you make, now from Excel? I don't know too much about the other ones because I have not done a lot of commercial stuff with them. But from Excel, how much can you make? So let's start with you doing part-time. So you have your full-time job. You can only work on weekends. Let's even take out nights or early morning. Let's just say your Sunday and Saturday are the only days you can have to do anything part-time. Okay, so you can make between 60,000 naira and 400,000 naira monthly. How? Okay, you can offer your service as a pay-per-day trainer. There are also for trainers. So they go week for them, they look for a trainer to handle the training. You can charge them depending on how well you bargain and how very good you are. You can charge them, up to 1,000 naira per day in exact match you up. The highest I've charged is as a per day trainer. You're not providing anything. You're not you're not so it's not like you are going as a company. It's just you already have your own job. Now, we hear you're very good, blah blah. You don't just show up with your laptop, connect it to the projector, train the people and you go home. All right, so that's that one. If you take what we call projects, well, like you can get a project of between 100 will come just once in a blue. So that's why I'm estimating that okay, on average monthly. So if you break everything monthly, you're in 60,000 naira and 400,000 naira monthly part time, without impacting your full time job. So what about going full time? Going full time consulting, then only you can determine. If you decide to do a one man show, just you can get up to 1 million naira per month from just Nigerian clients. Then if you mix them up with foreign clients, because foreign clients pay a lot more. Well, maybe because of dollar and they are used to hog and all those. Once it's something that they feel you are typing it from your head, they start pricing you crazy low. So, but if you have a mix of Nigerian and foreign clients, you can easily do well. You can do up to 2 million per month. But then, if you decide to do it properly, have a technical team, a marketing team, then the sky is your limit. You can hit as high as, it's all business now. As many clients as you can get, and as you can manage. So you become a full company. So that's the money part of it. So I think, let me go check out if there are any questions. Okay. Okay, so Michael, can you give me one project to work on? Let me start from there. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that. Yeah, maybe not 3 years. Maybe in the next 5 years. Okay, that's someone answering someone else's question. Like, it's already growing. Like I see, it's not an industry like that will carry unlike telecoms where you see people register their company and say they are a telecoms company. It's an industry that is like accounting, where the different accounting guys, professionals, they are working embedded in companies. So they are in the companies you see, but those companies' name are not called big data company. So it's only if you are work close to them that you know they are using big data intensely. Like I never knew one file is using big data until like I got to get information about it from someone big in there. So there are many companies using this. I know telecoms, I know banks, but there will be other companies that are not that big name like that are using it already. Especially all these guys coming from USA, from UK back to Nigeria to start their own business. They use all those stuffs because it's a common stuff where they are coming from. Okay, and someone is looking for of actual work using Excel. All right. So for a very big telecoms company, we did a we did like three different projects. One of them helped them to uh, uh the name is really complex, but what it does is it automates the entire of evaluating a client's request, what service the client wants, and then the different requirements to provide that service. And for them, right, they used to they used to outsource it to a third party company, and they pay thousands of dollars per month for that company to get it done. And the automation, the program they told us to make for them was going to automate almost everything that company does. So we are kind of like taking I don't want to give the exact figure, but it's a high figure, even though it's in tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even the low tens, it's in the fairly high tens of thousands of dollars. So that was how much we are going to be saving them with that program. And it's Excel. So, but if you see the program, you will know it's Excel. It's not, if you're looking at it, it's not Excel actually, because it also even just it connects to Google Map, it launches Google Earth. It does a lot of complex stuff. It's actually programming. So it's not Excel formula or you enter data in here. It's completely programmed. It's an application actually. And okay, so that's one. We've also built for foreign clients. I've done models. Like I recently completed a portfolio model for a Canadian investment company, and it's going to automate a lot for them. How to money they invest across continents. They have investors that put money with them, and so they need to plan the investment, how much to allocate to each position. I know it's a lot of hard work that requires someone who the portfolio manager is the one who actually does all of this. So we wanted to automate everything, hand to hand. We had to connect to Bloomberg terminal, pull data. It's a complete program in itself in the end, and it's a big project. And that's one other one. Another one, there are many, person can explain, and there is data involved. Excel can fix it. And it's not, when I say can fix it with user form, I mean with user interactivity like click, drop down box, even a browser. There is one we did that you click on it to help you import I think I did for one other telecoms company. You'll be able to import the data you want to analyze. You click on the data, it will import it itself and analyze it automatically for you and come up with the result. It's all automated, so nobody's copying. You can put a 5-year-old there and just tell her click here, pick something, and so those are kind of stuffs we do with Excel. I just want to have a specific job that can be done by a consultant. Okay, I've answered that. I heard you say top managers may request for personalized training. In your own opinion, do you think age can be a restriction to learn or advance in data analysis? No. If you the I don't know if you heard of Excel Bible. The guy who, I don't want to use the word guy, but let me just use it. The guy who is the author of that book, Excel Bible, currently is 76 years old, and he's still writing. He does it for every version of Excel. So he's written for Excel 2016. I'm a Microsoft Excel MVP. There are just about 128 of us in the whole world. It's the highest level you can reach, get to, as an Excel expert. So there is a group of us. There are many 60 something year olds, 50 something year olds in the group, and they are working actively with Excel. They are, though they don't charge cheap money, but that's how relevant they still are despite their age. Okay, How do you get clients? Most times they come to us. So like maybe some of them are watching this webinar and they contact us. They go online, they search, they have problem. I need to do a dashboard. They search, they see us because we put a lot of content online. So most of the time they come to us actually, and then there's a lot of referrals. So when we do good jobs, people keep referring us. So we get a lot of referrals through too. Exactly, Williams. You took okay. So that's the same question. How do you get clients? Okay, so how can I contact? Uh, okay, you can contact us, but we'll be the one that will determine if your skills are expert enough. Because the truth is, the jobs we get for a company to look outside, for MTN to look outside, for Vodacom to look outside, for you know, Promasidor, for all the companies we have worked for them to look outside to even for a company as far outside there like in UK in US to be willing to put their own personal details, their information, business information, give it to us, you know ask us for help. They don't give to us simple jobs. It's not the kind of jobs that you could easily do even with my years of experience and expertise. All those jobs are all so it's the they don't give us the ones that they can just give someone in their office and say this is your KPI, make sure you do this thing. They give us things that they've given hope. They don't even think it was possible. They just maybe bounce the idea of us. Michael, can this thing work? And then we say yes, yes, and then they give it to us because as far as they were concerned, they don't even know it was possible. So those are the kind of jobs we get. So when you say your skills are expert, uh, you know, and if I'm going to, when we evaluate it and we say it's not expert enough, don't feel disappointed because for us now that we need a kind of like an important. That's why I work for the last three. I think for the last since 2012, I've been working on Excel like day and night. For some of you, Excel plays a supporting role. You're an accountant. Your primary job is accounting. Excel is now like a tool to support it. You're a sales. You're a sales manager. You have to get sales. You have to manage clients. Your Excel is just that thing to just help you do reports. But for me, Excel is not that tool. Excel itself is the job itself. So, and like that for the last 5 years. Okay, which other questions? Outside of Lagos, is there really business for data analysis in Nigeria? In all, the thing is this: most companies are in Lagos, so that's the problem. So it's usually banks that you see outside Lagos that are willing to engage you, banks, and then all those NGOs that are not in Lagos, and then some other cities have like Port Harcourt. So we have Port Harcourt, Kano too. There are companies there, and uh, Delta State, I think, and Benin. So those are the places we do get some requests from. So Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, Benin, sometimes Delta State too. Just look for wherever there are plenty companies. Then there is always job there. So Azure machine learning. Okay, so you listed your skills. Huh? Great. Okay, maybe we might talk afterwards. Anyway, and do you need a system administrator? Do you need this kind of career? If you are a system and except you want to change career, because if you are in the system administrator role, essentially the reports you'll be doing are just like just monthly reports to show what's happening, like just showing logs, analysis of logs, how many users are active. So you won't be doing any kind of serious reports. So because the reporting will be playing just a supporting role, unlike a finance guy who there's nothing he wants to do that he's not going to have to do reports. He's not going to have to work in Excel. For you, Excel is like on the side, something that is not critical to have as a skill, but if you have it, okay, it's a good spice. It gives some shiny stuff around you. But if you're a finance person, it's a sink or swim. It's either you know Excel and you know it very well and use it to do your job, or you kind of start sinking. So for a system administrator to know it to this depth, then you have to and benefit, then you have to probably start thinking of career change. like, or working fully on the side. So I know people who most of what they do is as part-time. So that's why I say there's also the part-time segment. You can do this part-time. Same way people who have a day job and they do something else professionally part-time, like MCs. A lot of the MCs that you see in weddings, that they do it really well. They have their full-time, they have their day jobs. So you too, you can take that route. You can keep your system administrator job and also do this as a professional part-time kind of stuff. Okay, so let me quickly plug in some shameless adverts, then we round up. So global business is powered by data. Data is it's the new operational hedge. It's the new gold. You know, companies that survive now, people whose career thrive now, are the ones who are able to leverage the power of data, create compelling uh, recommendations, and move their career and business forward. So the ability to analyze data is vital. These are just charts anyway. And the advert is this. Remember I mentioned that there are several segments. So let me just take you straight back to that place. Self-service BI domain, big data domain. So if you are trying to focus on this general, so we have a training. If you contact me, I can send you more details. So it's people who end up coming are usually business managers, finance analysts, business analysts, project managers, sales executives. These are the top 5 anyway. So you end up learning all you need to be very good in analyzing your business data. Create the kind of reports that shows you insight, dashboards, KPI. You plan your report. I mean your business, being on and analyzing everything. Okay, so we teach you all that, and if you want to engage with us, this is our contact details, and that is it. So I'll be checking for your questions now. You can also, if you want me to contact you, like the person who says he's looking to work with us, yeah, you can also reach out to me. You can send an email to this info@yourbz, so we can discuss how we can engage together. So let me check for your questions and then we round up. So any more questions? Is it safe to round up now? Okay. If you have any more questions, please type them out. Okay. Elliot, you were able to make it. Really glad, really glad you could make it. And I think, I think it's safe to call it a day for this month. So till next month. If you have any ideas, if you have suggestions of what you would like us to do next month, so we can always do things that are relevant to you. Uh, Please do share with us. Oh, Michael, can you do a webinar on this thing, on that aspect, on this, on that? So that way, we are able to cater for the things that they are your own main concerns, and we'll mix them up also with things we feel you should also know, because this is what we do full time. So obviously there will be some things that we will know that you probably wouldn't know, but then again, you are the people who are feeling the pain points. So there also will be things that you are more important to you than that we don't even know. So just share with us. Oh, Michael, these are the things that are important to us, that it would be very good if you can do a webinar around, and we appreciate those suggestions. So thank you for joining us this month, and we look forward to having you join us next month. So have a wonderful rest of the month. Enjoy your evening. Bye.